and welcome to the movement. The day is finally here, episode 1 of the Movement Podcast. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me today. I'm Laurie Ann. I am your host and the founder and creator of the movement, and I really am truly so grateful that you're here, and I hope you stick with me going forward as well. So, what exactly is a moob, and actually, why are we even here today? Well, this is a shortened version of what will be our podcast format kind of thing, and I'm going to just fill you in a little bit today about why I created the movement, who I am, what we are planning going forward, and that should give you an indication of what will happen ahead. I am going to just pause for a second and let you know that as much as this is my movement, I created it, this movement is a community, and I need all of you. It's been amazing, the reaction that I've gotten so far. So many people out of the woodwork coming to me and saying, we needed this. This is a great thing. Oh my goodness, why is there not a movement already? So I'm really encouraged, and I'm hoping that all of you will pretty much just give me your input. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want to talk about. I am very open to suggestions. We have a website. I'll tell you all about our website, our social media, everything as we go forward. So a moob is a mother of only boys. It is not a man boob. It is not a MOOC. Some people have thought it's called there's something out there called a MOOC, a massive open online course. It is neither of those things. It is a mother of only boys. And I created this acronym several years back. I happened to have been at a party, and I was with a group of people who are really close to me, people who are my friends, who I consider my sisters. And a conversation arose discussing their daughters. And I realized at that moment I was the only one in the circle who didn't have a daughter. I have all sons. And they were kind of complaining a little bit about here and there about different things. And I started to feel a little left out. Now, I know my friends, and if they had any idea that I was feeling like I was, they would be mortified. They would never want to hurt me. But inadvertently, people say things, and I realized like I was taking it a little personally in a little way that just gave me a little pang here. And I ended up mentioning that to another friend of mine who also has only boys the next day. And she totally got it. And I realized, there are certain things, even your closest friends, your family, they don't get it unless they're in the situation. And why don't we have more of a network of people that we can share these kind of experiences with? So I decided to call myself a moob and own the identity, thereby just increasing the chances of conversation about it. And one thing led to another, and I decided, this is catching on. People would see me wherever they would run into me in the gym, wherever, and say, oh, there's the moob. And, it became like a little bit of a joke. And I decided, do what you know. I know I'm about being a moob, and I'm going to take this somewhere where other moobs, especially younger moms, but really moms of all ages, all generations, can come together and experience, share experiences and vent and cry and laugh and complain, mostly laugh about our lives. So hence the movement. It started out as an idea for a book, and then I was talking to my kids, as a matter of fact, my sons, who basically said to me, Mom, this sounds a little bit more like a conversation than it does a book. You should do a podcast. Okay, a podcast. What's a podcast? Well, I kind of thought I might have listened to a few before, but podcasts are taking off. And I figured, what? Why not start a podcast? Why not learn what a podcast is? Why not jump into a whole new type of genre that I knew nothing about? Because jumping out of the box is what I do best and what I encourage for people to do. I'm pretty much an open book, so I will tell you I'm 63 years old. And I'm also here to tell you that it's never too late. It's never too late to start something new. Just because you don't know about it, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? So here we are. We have a podcast. And I want to tell you a little bit about me and my background, and then we'll go on to talk more about the show. But I am going to try to keep this somewhat short and sweet and hope that you will stay with me and move on, or I should say move on to the next episode, which will be more of a typical episode for the movement. Okay, so I am Laurie Steinmetz. I am 63 years old. I have 3 sons who range in age from 36 to 31. And I consider myself somewhat of a hybrid kind of person. I don't know how many of you out there are like me, but I am a little bit fluff, little bit substance. So I would say I love the fun stuff like beach reads, reality TV, all of that. But I'm also someone who enjoys learning and reading and asking deeper questions. So this podcast, I'm hoping, will be a reflection of me. We're going to have some fun, laughter, good times, people to come in here and poke fun at who we are. And we're also going to have we're going to learn together about nature versus nurture, about biology. We're going to have some psychologists and therapists and educators here. Lots of different angles about talking about being a mom of only boys and having sons. So we'll run the gamut here, and I hope that everybody will appreciate and enjoy that. And again, send me your input as to, what you'd like to hear. So consider me equal part chick flicks and deep dives, something along those lines. And let's go with it and see where it takes us. I hope you like our intro music, because the other thing I'll tell you about myself is that I tend to lean toward country-ish music. I really, I'm a Keith Urban fan, one of those. And so I wanted this podcast to have a little bit of fun and heart to it. So I created this intro music as well as the music to some of our segments, which I will tell you about in a couple minutes. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you will sing along and learn about our musical lyrics and everything like that. All right, so that's it about me for now. We're going to get to know each other a lot more as we go forward, but let's go on to the format of the show. We are going to have guests on the movement. I have to tell you that my producers had told me that I should do this first show alone, and I said, how on earth am I going to sit and talk for, they told me 20 to 30 minutes by myself about this movement? I mean, I'm very passionate about it. Little did I know that I could probably talk for 3 hours about the movement. Again, it was out of my comfort zone, but maybe you don't even know what your comfort zone is. Who knows? But I did want to keep this short and sweet because I don't want to lose you guys. So going forward, we're going to have guests. And some of those guests are regular moms. They're regular moobs, mothers of only boys. As a matter of fact, I have mothers of only girls. I have members of what I call the mob, which is mothers of boys who also have girls. And we're going to talk and we're going to compare and contrast. And like I said, vent, laugh, and enjoy each other and commiserate a little bit and hopefully get to know each other. I'm hoping that we will also have moves of different ages, demographics, and so forth, anything that can add to that conversation. I don't know how many of you know, there are a lot of moves out there. There are some very famous moves out there. I would tend to bet they know nothing about me and the movement as of now, but I'm really hoping this is going to catch on and all of you out there are going to spread the word and they'll hear about us and join the conversation too. Just to give you a little sample, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who has an amazing podcast that I listen to called Wiser Than Me. Julia, a moob. Amy Poehler, I think we all know she has like the number one or the best podcast out there called Good Hang. Amy Poehler, a moob. Amy Schumer, one of my favorites, a moob. Dylan Dreyer, Carrie Underwood, Back to the Country Roots. All moves. So I'm hoping as this catches on, we will have some famous moves join us, some everyday moves. I'm going to do another shout out to Jackie Oshry of The Toast. I know many of you young moms especially listen to The Toast. And from what I understand, Jackie actually, I'm talking to you now from Boca Raton, Florida, and from what I understand, she lives nearby and has 3 sons. So, Jackie, if you hear me, we would love to have you here live on The Movement. Anyway, we will have some segments, signature segments going forward on this podcast. There are 2 of them. One is called Moob Mail, and that's, again, to tell you guys how much I really want your input. So on our website, on our social media, there will be places for you to submit your Moob Mail. Of course, I created a graphic with a country-leaning musical tune that you will hear every time we start Moob Mail, except for today. So hum along. And hopefully, depending on who the guest is, we'll have our guests chime in for that as well. The second signature segment is called the Confession Corner. And my feelings about that was that we'll see how it goes. I wanted a space where moms, where any of our listeners can write in and confess something they may not say out loud. Because, like I said before, we get it. And sometimes we will understand what that person is saying, and it will make that person feel better that they're not alone. So we'll see what happens. I actually did put it out there already, and to my shock, I didn't even know who was hearing me, listening to me, following me, but I did get a lot of Moob Mail and a couple of confessions, some of which I'm going to share with you today. So keep them coming. Keep supporting the movement. I think it will be great for everybody out there listening. All right, I'm going to just go through 2 things, one Moob Mail that I received and one confession, just to give you a sense of like what I'm looking for and what I've received so far. The first Moob Mail I received was somebody named Michelle, and she wrote, "Thank you for this podcast. I didn't realize how great it would be to connect with other moms of only boys. I have 3 boys, and I can't decide if I should have another child because I really want a daughter. My husband does not want another child, but I think if I really wanted to, I can convince him. What do you think?" Well, I can put my 2 cents in here, and I'd love to know, after you listeners listen to this episode, if you go onto our Instagram, our Facebook, I'd love to know what you think as well. But what I will tell Michelle, is that her name? Yes, Michelle, is my opinion. I think if you want a 4th child, you have to want a 4th child and not do this because you want a daughter. Every child is a blessing, and you don't know that you will have a boy or a girl, nor should it really, in my 63 years of experience and life, matter. I personally have 3 boys. We stopped after that. And my life is full and blessed and happy and wonderful. Like I said, have I had, instances here and there where it came up about having a girl and so forth? Definitely. I think we're not honest with ourselves if we don't somewhat admit that. But I think you and your husband need to decide that together, and decide whether you want to be a family of 4 children or a family of 3 children. I'm going to move on to our confession corner. Again, another graphic. Again, another country-leaning tune. And today, the confession was written in by a young woman named Jill. And Jill wrote, this one made me laugh. "My house gets so loud and crazy sometimes that I lock myself in my closet just to get some peace. Anyone else? ? I laughed at that one. Having had a home of 3 boys, 2 dogs, and I don't know about you out there, but I feel like when you have boys especially, somehow that multiplies. So not only did I have my 3, but I had all of their friends, neighborhood boys, and somehow there were always balls bouncing and things going on in my house. My refrigerator was empty despite the fact that I went shopping every day, twice a day sometimes. This was before Instacart and easy ways to get groceries in your house. So I have to say, I appreciate that confession. I don't know that I ever locked myself in my closet. I do, however, remember at least one instance where I did lock myself in my car, and I just needed that moment of peace, which makes me want to tell you also about some of the topics that we are going to discuss on the movement. And hearing what Jill wrote led me to realize that we need a couple of episodes about self-care, about being moms who run active households, many of us who work full-time and still have a house full of boys to take care of, let alone possibly men or a husband. And we need to take care of ourselves. We need to keep ourselves happy. Happy mama, happy household. So we're going to bring in some self-care experts to talk about that and ways to do things for yourself. I also want to talk about the fact that I'm doing this podcast, and I'm doing this for all of you, and I'm also doing it for me. And I think it's really important for moms out there to have something of their own. Whether or not you're working full-time, you're a stay-at-home mom, you'll see, I believe, as you go down the path of life, that it's always great to have your own thing, whatever it is. I mean, it could be that you knit, and it could be that you're playing a sport. It could be that you play cards. It could be that you're starting a podcast, whatever it might be. So, down the road, I can just give you a little bit of insight here that when your kids get older, get married, it's really kind of nice to have your own thing that you can channel into, aside from always being a mom and a moob, which always comes first. Other topics will include things like, basically learning the gender of your child while you're pregnant. Do you, don't you? Do you do those big gender reveals? How do they make you feel? Things like life events, grandchildren. What's it like from the point of view of a mother of only boys, of the mother of the son? When your child gets married, when your child has children and you become a grandparent, what's it like being a grandparent of a moob? We will have all different kinds of experts here to discuss raising sons, the chaos, and also discuss the mushiness of our boys and what it's like to be queen of your home and feel those amazing boy mom hugs. So that's about it for today. I'm going to wrap this up and hope that you will stay with me. Like I said, tune into episode 2. I have an amazing guest. Her name is Marlene Kern-Fisher. And you may know her name. She's a frequent contributor to a lot of parenting venues, including Grown and Flown, which is a popular blog. And also she has a blog called Thoughts from Aisle 4. And Marlene has a lot of great insight. She also has a much better sense of humor than I do. So I wanted to bring her on so that you all can meet her. So stay tuned for episode 2 with Marlene. Thank you all for joining me today. I am so appreciative. And the support that I've received from my husband, from my boys, from my daughters-in-law, from my grandchildren, from my friends is just unbelievable. And I want to thank you all for that. And before I leave you, I want to end this the way I plan on always ending every single podcast that we do here, by reminding you to hug your boys, trust your instincts, and remember that where all boy moms belong is right here.
Hey, hey. Oh boy, that's it for today. Hey. Oh boy, you made it all the way. Oh boy, glad you came to stay. We'll do it again on another day.